Coming through to pick up that Team Deepwater Cultivating Bucketheads pack for the week. You see what I'm saying? Shouts out to y'all Bucketheads. We're going to be having y'all weekly packages on the way. That's another thing we got coming up on Buy Me a Coffee in 2025 when we get into our homework. But, we ain't talking about that yet. You know what I'm saying? That'll be a video coming up in a video coming up in a video. But, spoiler alert, as they say. Shit. But y'all know how we do.
After a career in politics, I was a senior advisor to a number of Democratic governors. But after business school, I was looking for an opportunity that was both mission-driven, but also a growing economic sector.
The cannabis started out with medical cannabis. They were originally called Columbia Care, and they've been trying to ride the wave of recreational legalization. The problem is that every state has its own way of setting up their licensing process, and the result is often confusion and controversy. To be fair, this often happens when a long-standing ban is lifted, when something goes from illegal to legal. It happened with alcohol, it happened with fireworks, it happened with gay marriage. But Adam Gores argues that with cannabis, some states have done a particularly bad job.
I'll point out one that's done it probably the worst. It's New York State that delayed the rollout of their marketplace by not allowing their medical businesses to get started and waiting to let new businesses join in first, which took years. And in that vacuum, the illicit market just dominated. And so, headlines everywhere that there's thousands and thousands of illicit shops in New York that have been very difficult to shut down.
As a New Yorker, I can vouch for those headlines. There are now a few dozen licensed cannabis shops in New York City, but since legalization in 2021, there have been 3,000 illegal shops. The average customer would have no idea those illegal shops are illegal. They have real neon signs, real employees, and real weed. Their products might be properly labeled, and they might be tested for contaminants, but also
Another day in paradise. Good to see you.
Why has it been so hard to shut down illegal shops? The economist Coleman Strumpf has been studying legal and illegal cannabis markets in the U.S. He's the one who found that fun fact I shared earlier, that 70% of the weed shops in L.A. are illegal. Here's what he told me in an email. It is rare for police to permanently shut down a store. In short, this comes back to jurisdictional confusion, demoralization of police. Essentially, they were told they were villains in the war on crime, and now they have to figure out not if a drug is legal, but if the seller is legal. And perseverance by illegal stores. After an arrest, they often reopen a store right near where their old store was. If you happen to walk into a weed store and you aren't sure if it's legit, one fun thing to do is ask to see their license. That usually turns into an interesting conversation. You can also check the prices. If the store is unlicensed, they're going to be cheaper, maybe half the price you'd find in a legal store. This makes sense. Running an illegal operation is a lot cheaper. No licensing fees, no testing fees, no taxes to pay. According to one estimate of California's cannabis market, annual sales of the legal product are at $5 billion, with illegal sales at $8 billion. It's hard to think of another industry where the legal version gets so badly beaten by the illegal version. If you can think of one, let me know. In most heavily regulated industries, think of pharmaceuticals, the manufacturer can pass along all those regulatory costs to the customer. When cannabis firms do that, they make the illegal version even cheaper by comparison. So legal firms try to keep their prices down, which makes it harder to make money. A recent survey by Whitney Economics, a big cannabis research firm, found that only 24% of licensed operators in the U.S. are turning a profit.
There's a lot of unrealistic expectations.
That is John Calkins. He is a drug policy researcher at Carnegie Mellon University. We heard from him last week, too. This time, I asked Calkins why the legal cannabis market isn't working so well. He says there are at least three major reasons.
One is just legalization is like a radical technological innovation creating a brand new market. Cannabis has been used for thousands of years, but the kinds of production methods you can use after legalization are entirely different. So it's like a brand new market. And it is actually normal when there's a brand new market for thousands of people to jump in trying to get rich, and 80%